What's up, everybody? Y'all come on in. Y'all come on in. We'll give another minute, y'all, and we'll get started. All right, how about we begin? How about we get started? Yeah, come in when they come in, catch it on the rewind. So the title of this lecture is called Intergalactic Updates. Y'all know I wasn't going to do no more lectures before the Great Convergence, but y'all know how this go. They download information into your mind when you wake up, and you got to deliver. Y'all know how this go. So now let me tell you what's going on here. I got 3 updates, 3 major ones. The first one is Titan versus the superheroes or super soldiers, right? They said the Titans are going to wipe out the superheroes, super soldiers, on every timeline. So we have been right all this time. Like we gonna wipe out these beings on every timeline. Like it's gonna be every timeline because the timeline is gonna be one for a while, right? So we gonna go and wipe out every timeline, every super soldier that's ever existed on every timeline. The resistance, as they call it, that has been tampering with our fucking time spectrum. You see what I'm saying? Our time spectrum. So our space-time continuum, right? You know, this was a breach. The reason why we came down here Starseeds is because there was a breach in the timeline. There was a breach in the time space-time continuum when these motherfuckers came. They couldn't fuck. We whooped their ass in the future, so they came back to the past. You know the story of we whooped their ass in the future. Days of future past. We whooped that ass. They came back to the past, jumped back when we was more or less evolved, and we was still getting our shit together, and they began to fuck up our realities before we reached that level. You see what I'm saying? Before we reach that level again. So why they so this is what you got going on here. That's why they picked our timeline. If you want to know why our era, they picked our era because they knew that right now they could invade. This is the best possible timeline they can invade during this downward period that we was having, this down cycle that we was having, this moon cycle that we was having. And that was the best time out of all the timelines that they viewed where they could step in and have some semblance of a victory, or things will work out in these archons and their minions' favors, right? Now, they've been at it, at least on our land, since 1607. So, 400 and... So that's 400 years, 413 years, if you count up to now. So 413 years. So we got to go through the timeline of the last 413 years and wipe them motherfuckers out. Those timelines are going to be wiped out. That's what you got. That's what you see going on here. That's what you see going on. Them timelines get ready to be wiped out, if they hadn't already been wiped out, because the Titans, us, will go to war with every timeline that these motherfuckers, these genetically modified organisms exist in. You see what I'm saying? We're going to wipe out every one. We're going to wipe out the slavery timeline, everything. Just like Jax did in Mortal Kombat. You see what I'm saying? He wouldn't wait for motherfuckers to get woke. He went back in time and he handled it until he wiped out every motherfucking archon in existence. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So this is what you got going on with this cosmic energy coming, this cosmic energy, this cosmic force coming. So we gonna wipe out every time. Like if y'all haven't seen Jax ending on Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you. Just so y'all know what I'm talking about.
All I wanted was to fix my life. Now I have the power to fix. All I wanted was to fix my life. Now I have the power to fix history. Raiden warns me, I can't fix everything. Change too much and I could lose Vera, lose Jackie. But this power is bigger than us. If I think only about helping myself, what kind of officer am I? What kind of man? I've been lucky. My family and I have lived the American dream. But most people who look like me haven't had that chance. I owe it to them to put things right. And I'm not waiting centuries for people to get woke when I've got the power to speed things up. I don't get it right the first time, or the second, or even the have everything. Anyone who says you can't needs to dream bigger.
So they basically telling you right there, oh, there was so much heat over there. Because they basically let you know that this is why we here at Starseeds, to restore the timelines back to their proper space-time continuum. This was never supposed to happen. You hear that current theme a lot, like, we're not supposed to be in this predicament. We're not supposed to be this fucked up. We not, actually. We not. This is a breach in our timeline, a corruption of our space-time continuum from these motherfuckers. So now we as Titans, once we get our superpowers. Now, when we say superpowers, what do we mean by that? We're not talking about the Avengers and the DC Marvel idea or concept of superpowers. We're talking about Star Wars concept of superpowers. When we think more, that ancestral force, that baby Yoda, that golden child inside of you awakening as a newborn ancestral spirit, newborn ancestral fire, and you get used to your abilities. And now the manifestation of you tapping into that ancestral force, that ancestral spirit, that ancestral soul that's newly awakened inside of you, you will be able to harness the elements like fire bending, earth bending, water bending, and air bending, right? That's what they mean by abilities. You see what I'm saying? Not the Marvel, some fucked up shit happening. You actually have already went through that. Your awakenings was the Marvel version and the DC version of you receiving superpowers. You see what I'm saying? When you went through all that fucked up shit just to get on the level, just to fully awaken, just to fully activate all that fucked up shit, all the calamity that happened into your life, that was the DC Marvel version of this shit. That's why you love DC and Marvel, because you've already been through it, and your subconscious and unconscious and ultra unconscious is telling you that you've been through it. You see what I'm saying? Nah. What the real version is the ancestral force inside of you, the sleeper that awoken. You see what I'm saying? The sleeper must awaken, right? That I was telling y'all in my Anunnaki summoning video. That's what I meant by superpowers. You see what I'm saying? Superpowers is not, it's not you're not getting the Marvel version. You already in the Marvel version of your abilities. Y'all already can do the shit that they can do in Marvel. You see what I'm saying? Especially Doctor Strange. Y'all know more about magic than any aspect. You see what I'm saying? So especially the wizardry side of it. So yeah. It's more the Star Wars version of it, where the ancestral force inside of you, this ancestral spirit and soul inside of you, fully comes online. And through that ancestral force, that spirit inside of you, go watch those videos on the force. Through those ancestral abilities inside of you, you get to tap into those elements as manifestations of that ancestral force, that ancestral spirit. You see what I'm saying? Look at a perfect example of it. Hold on. Listen to what he tell him.
Just breathe. Reach out with your feelings. What do you see?
The island. Life. Death and decay. That feeds new life. Warm. Cold. Peace. Violence.
And between it all,
Balance. Energy. A force.
and inside you.
Inside me. That same force.
Inside you, that same force. That's the real truth. That's what they mean by the sleeper must awaken. That ancestral force inside you, like they told you in Doom. That must awaken inside of you. And you had to go through hell to get it. So December 21st will be an overhaul for a lot of us because we already on that level. But it will be an upgrade for a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all will be activated or just awakening. And y'all had to go through the hell that's the post-apocalyptic period. But it's a complete overhaul for us who been on this. That's what we mean by you getting your abilities. You see what I'm saying? You getting your abilities. A lot of y'all gonna be activated depending on it depends on your level of consciousness. If you've already been working with that supernatural force inside of you and the supernatural force around you, you good. You gonna get your upgrades. If you ain't been working with it in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it's psionically, magically, or in the original Jedi style of it, you know, in a more Jedi-ish style, then you gonna have some work to do. You gonna have some work to do. You will have the upgrades, but you still gonna have to work yourself up or build yourself up to fully unlock them. You see what I'm saying? Because if you try to unlock those abilities before time, before you build yourself up, both mentally and emotionally, then you can self-destruct. So you get them slowly but surely. You had a potential. You know, you had a force potential, the raw potential to unlock those abilities, but you still have to work towards gaining them. But if you already been doing the work, like myself and others of our Soul Squad Star Team, then you good because you already mentally and emotionally ready and physically ready to deal with this. You see what I'm saying? You already ready. And a lot of people like, Marvin, what about if I've been awoken such amount of time, I've been eating meat or whatever? Look here, nobody give a fuck about that. As long as you do your spiritual work. You see what I'm saying? They know, you think your ancestors don't know that you have to deal with this bullshit down here? And fucking salads and shit cost $8 in the store, so you can't always afford that shit. Smoothies cost $5 in the store, so you can't always afford that shit. You think they don't know that? So you eat whatever you need to eat to survive. They don't want you to go to the extreme with it. You know, eating every chance you get. No, in moderation. Temperance, balance. You see what I'm saying? It's all about balance. Which leads me to the next message, you know, that we got. The message is balance. Now, what's going on with the balance here? Well, they told me that the feminine energy on the planet has finally caught back up with the masculine energy. You see what I'm saying? And they said the masculine has been stagnant of lately due to the agendas that's going on down here. So we got to shake that shit off now. But the feminine energy has finally caught up, and so now we're ready. There's a balance in the force now, feminine and masculine energy. So all that shit you seen, all that so-called feminism and everything you seen for the last 4 or 5 years, was the feminine energy catching up. You see what I'm saying? Now it's caught up. She caught up. So now it's balance in the force, and we can finally fucking move on. See what I'm saying? You can finally fucking move on. So that was another lesson. Balance. You know, balance. So I definitely want to put that one out there. And finally, the last message I got was, we are actually in the 4th wave, not the 5th, not the 2nd wave. They've been lying to us. They've been telling everybody we're in the 2nd wave, getting ready for the 3rd. Now, my niggas, we in the 4th wave, getting ready for the 5th wave. How we know this? I had to do a lot of research before this lecture, and I'm talking about 30 minutes ago. I had to do quite a bit of research to find out how we fucking in the 4th wave. They say it's exactly how it's written in the book of Revelation with the 4 horsemen. Conquest, war, famine, and death, right? But they said, don't think of it as it's just now happening. Think of it as you just now waking up to what's going on. So, conquest started in 1607 when these motherfucking English people, the English hit our land and started massacring the Virginia Indians to set up the Jamestown colony. Yeah, who were the Virginia Indians? They were the Cherokee. Let me see. I got a list of them. The Powhatan and the Monacan. The Monacan, all melanated people at this time. The Powhatan, the Monacan, and the Cherokee. So, there was conquest because the Dutch, the Spanish and the fucking, there was one other group that and the French. When they came through here, they considered us as sacred people because we the Washatamers, Mu'ers, the Lemurians were the oldest people on the planet, and so they was just trading with us. It went to the English, brought they stinking asses over here, and the British followed sometime later. They brought they stinking asses over here and started massacring everybody. So the first massacre that ever happened was in Virginia when they killed off the Cherokee, Powhatan, and Monacan Indians. You see what I'm saying? Or indigenous people, or who are a branch of the Washatamers. They weren't called that at that time. We were all Washatamers. They just gave these motherfuckers names, like Empress Verdiasi tell us. They gave them names. We were all Washatamers. This was the one big Mu empire. You see what I'm saying? We may have had our own dialect or indigenous name for our area, but it would be like Muskogee Washita. You see what I'm saying? Or Cherokee Washita. But they came in and they changed that shit. They started killing off all the family names, so which disconnected all the tribes, making us think and all the tribes began to war with each other or align with them, because they was causing so much upheaval like they did in the east, in the eastern hemisphere. So that was conquest right there. Next was war. What happened for the next 400 years? War. Shit, we could go on and on. The wars that happened: the Revolutionary War, the fucking War of 1812, goddamn the Civil War, World War I and II, shit, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the COINTELPRO urban wars that they launched on the indigenous people or the melanated people in the 80s, and in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? In the 90s, hell, they didn't stop. Hell, they didn't stop. They still ain't stopped. Shit, you go all the way up to now. The COINTELPRO still active to this day. So yeah, then you got so warfare been happening. Warfare been happening, right? So there's war and rumors of war. It never stopped. All the way up until we get into the astral war now, because the astral plane is merging more and more with us. So we've been warring the whole time. If you go and look up the Native American wars, shit, they didn't conquer the country in the 1920s. You see what I'm saying? They didn't get everything they wanted as far as the country to the 1920s, right? So and then they started. Then once they conquered all the lands, then they started focusing on the urban communities a lot more. You see what I'm saying? But we been at war. You see what I'm saying? It never stopped being war. So that's the second seal. The third seal is famine. The third seal is famine. Do y'all not know that companies like Monsanto has been around since 1901? Shit, I just looked at the timeline for Monsanto. We just gonna focus on Monsanto. That's just one GMO company, genetically modified organism. Like literally on their timeline. Let me read some of this to y'all real quick. Hold on here. Let me go look up their timeline. They give you a timeline for these motherfuckers and how long they been doing this work to fuck us up. Let's see. They started in 1901 as a pharmaceutical company. You see what I'm saying? And they had been producing saccharin and artificial sweeteners, but they was only manufacturing it in Germany. Then in 1907, the USDA investigates whether replacing saccharin with sugar violates the Pure Food Drug Act. So 1911, the USDA proclaims food with saccharin adulterated, thus banning it. 1914, World War I starts and sugar shortages prompt the government to lift saccharin restriction. 1915, with caffeine and vanillin added to Monsanto's product line, and Coca-Cola as a chief customer, sales reached $1 million. 1917, Monsanto begins producing aspirin, becoming the top producer in the U.S., a title it held until the 1980s. Let's see, Queenie Pads expanding the company in 1933. In the 1930s, 1960, the variety of product offerings prompts the group to rebrand as the Monsanto Company. Mid-60s and mid to late 60s, as a government contract, Monsanto manufactures Agent Orange, a highly toxic herbicide used by the U.S. military during the Vietnam War to clear jungles and starve North Vietnamese soldiers. Didn't know that, did we? 1974, the company introduces Roundup herbicide. now among the world's most widely used herbicides. You see what I'm saying? 1982, Monsanto scientists are the first to genetically modify a plant cell. Later, the company acquires the Jacob Hart's Seed Company, which is known for its soybean seed. 1984, Vietnamese veterans settled a lawsuit with Monsanto. That's when they sued them for $180 million, and they got it. 1985, Monsanto buys pharmaceutical firm J.D. Searle and company make up the NutraSweet artificial sweetener. This is where they start getting good. 1994, Monsanto begins commercial production of BST, bovine somatotropin, a synthetic supplement for dairy cows. So that's when they start making artificial milk, basically. That's when they start making artificial milk. 1996, it introduces Roundup Ready seeds, which Monsanto genetically engineered to tolerate its Roundup herbicide. Roundup Ready soybeans, corn, cotton, and other crops have since dominated every market in which they are sold. The company also signs contracts to license corn and soy seeds from Decal Genetics and buys the cotton and biotech company AgroCetis. This is their timeline, y'all. This is just what the fuck they been doing. 1998, under the leadership of lawyer and former urban affairs professor Robert Shapiro, former head of NutraSweet operations, the company spins off its chemical operations. Monsanto then commits to biotechnology with the official goal of helping people lead longer, healthier lives at a cost that they and their nations can afford and without continued environmental degradation. 1999. Here we go. After an $8 billion licensing and buying spree, Monsanto becomes the foremost producer of genetically modified crops. Damn. So they letting you know what these motherfuckers is about. You see what I'm saying? Let me read 1999 again. So from 1999, after an $8 billion licensing and buying spree, Monsanto becomes the foremost producer of genetically modified crops. So from 99 on down, they printed which is about 20 years now. For the last 20 years, they've been feeding us genetically modified crops. Remember those, the comedians used to tell jokes about steroids in the food in the early 2000s and all that shit? This is where they get this from. Oh, and it goes on and on. It goes on and on. How they fucking, let's see, they did something to the farmers. Let's see. The March 2011, the Public Patent Foundation, which consists of 60 farmers, seed businesses, and organic agricultural organization, files a lawsuit challenging Monsanto's patents on genetically modified seeds. Damn. September 2011, let me skip that one. September 2012, a highly contested study finds that Roundup herbicide and genetically modified maize causes tumors and organ damage in rats. So, what the fuck you think it's doing to you? Let's see here. Let's see. April 2013, President Obama signs the Monsanto Protection Act. We told y'all that nigga was fucking y'all up, which requires the USDA to approve genetically modified crops, even if courts have ruled against them. Damn. Then in May of 2013, 9 Supreme Court justices award a patent case to Monsanto against Indiana soybean farmer Vernon Bowman, ruling that patent exhaustion doesn't apply to Roundup Ready soybeans. So they still got their money. They took $82,000 from his ass. They weren't fucking around. June 2013, Connecticut passed the nation's first GMO labeling law. 3 weeks later, Monsanto EVP and Chief Technology Officer Robert T. Frehley wins the World Food Prize, the Nobel Prize of Food, along with 2 other scientists who work on GMOs. The company is one of the award's biggest donors. Oh, so they pretty much got they didn't donate to the motherfucking award people who do the awards, and so they got an award for donating. You see what I'm saying? For all my weed smokers. October 2013, Monsanto expands weed management incentive programs which come with cash for farmers. So that's when they got into the weed business in 2013 and started fucking people up. Let's see. So yeah, there's some few other things, but nothing important. So they've been fucking them food up for 20 years now. And that's just Monsanto. We ain't even talking about, the rest of the motherfuckers who ain't as well known as Monsanto. We just talking about the ones we just talking about Monsanto because they the most popular. But peep game, most of these companies have been around for 100 or so years. They've been around for a long goddamn time. So that's famine. You see what I'm saying? That's family. That's the story of the corruption of the food. You see what I'm saying? Famine ain't gotta be a food shortage. Famine could just be them feeding you artificial food. That's also a form of famine. Did y'all know that? Because that's fucking you eating it to survive, true enough, but it's really fucking with your genetics. See what I'm saying? It's really fucking with your genetics. That is a form of famine. That's what they doing to people in America. So, cause they don't want, what they trying not to do is awaken that inner monster, that melanin monster inside of you. So that's why they still feeding you, but they starving the rest of the world. They don't want it to activate inside of you, cause they know the ancestral force will come online if they start feeding you. Or start doing this. They want you to be as comfortable as possible in America. That's why they don't fuck with you as much as they fuck with the rest of our melanated people across the world. Because they know it's some lying dormant, prophesized. It's an ancestral power that's lying dormant in them motherfuckers over there in America, in the United States of America. So you don't fuck with them. You make it as hard as possible, but as comfortable as possible at the same time. Find a balance between the two. That's why you still got your shit, but the rest of the world is starving. But they found another way to provoke famine on you, and that's by feeding you genetically modified organisms. I want to tell y'all a secret. Everything in the stove is genetically modified at this point. The vegetables, the fruit, the meat, everything, the cereals, everything in the local stores is already been genetically modified. And I don't even know if they've gotten to the curb markets yet. They used to sell grapes, seeded grapes, but we ain't been seeing seeded grapes in the fucking curb markets. So they may have gotten to their asses finally. So yeah. So that is your famine and strife. Eating artificial bullshit, which causes you to degenerate and go degenerate more and more. Become more feral, become more ghoulish, become more zombified. In your thinking and feelings. You see what I'm saying? And more bestial. That's what they trying to turn you into, because they know they just can't take food from you like they can from the rest of the world, because they know that monster. They trying to fuck you up as much as possible without activating that monster. So they still got to make you a little bit more, they still got to make you as comfortable as possible without activating that melanin monster inside of you. So that's what's going on with famine. Now death. Oh yeah, death. The pale horse. Death has been happening since the moment these motherfuckers set foot on our soil in 1607. Like I said, it's been happening the whole goddamn time. If conquest was them just conquering this shit, manifest destiny, them conquering the land, then death is definitely all the killing that they did to conquer the land. You see what I'm saying? All the killing that they did. Y'all know there's a billion melanated indigenous people living on in the United States of America. Did y'all know that? Before these motherfuckers came over here. There was a billion melanated people living in America before these motherfuckers came over here. A billion. Notice what I said, a billion. Now, if there was a billion people living in America before these motherfuckers came over here, by the time by modern day times, the modern day time stamp, y'all know it's only 331 million people in America, right? Out of that 331 million people, the melanated people in America only accounts for 13.4% of it, which is about 22 million. You see what I'm saying? About 22 million. Let me see. I got the exact calculation here. 22,388,059 and some change, 701, which is the birthing process, the kids that's coming online. So we went from 1 billion, 2.5, somewhere around that range. So to 22 million. Y'all know there's only like, let's see, 10% of a billion is what? 100 million? 1% of a billion is 10 million. So we at 22 million. So it's only about, 1% of the population left of the indigenous people. who ran this land. You see what I'm saying? Originally. You know, it's only about 1% left. If you're talking about a billion, 10% of a billion is 100 million. 10%, 1% of a billion is 10 million, right? I say it's 22 million of us left at this time. So you're looking at about 12%. You see what I'm saying? 12%. You know, so 10 to 11% of us have survived this 400-year Holocaust. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, this 400-year Holocaust that we just went through, 413 to be fucking exact. So this is what we talking about here. That's death. That's mass genocide. That is a whole space-time continuum of genocide. Yeah, I know that, right? That's a whole space-time continuum of fucking genocide. And that's what these niggas did for the last 413 years that these motherfuckers have been on our land. And they wondering why they about to get theirs. Nigga, you think that motherfuckers ain't looked at 413? Only 1%, only goddamn 1% of the fucking population, indigenous population, exists in America now. I ain't even talking about the world. Or we get into the world population, it's only about if it's only 1% of us, we was the smallest population. You know, everybody else had bigger populations. So we say it's about 10% of everybody else on the planet. So it's only 7 continents. So out of the billions of motherfucking melanated people that's walking around, we say it's only about 15% of indigenous population left around the world. You see what I'm saying? Around the motherfucking world. So and it's only 1% of us left in America. That was the game plan. That's death. That's true death. That's true death. And they said after the pale horse, all hell will follow. So we ain't got our all hell will follow yet. That started from the Great Convergence on down. Starting tomorrow on down. So this what you got going on here. This what you got going on with this bullshit that y'all been dealing with here. That we've been dealing with here. So I'm like, damn, if you do the math, 22 million of us at this time is left in just America. Ain't even telling how many left in the rest of the world, cause they way harder on our people in the rest of the world than they are us. They just murked them. You know, they kind of like, they got a little bit balance. They got a little bit more balance with us over time, cause of they know what's inside of us. But they don't give a fuck about our melanated people across the rest of the world. So they kill them off any chance they get. You see what I'm saying? They go into villages and wipe motherfuckers out. Cities, towns, and just wipe motherfuckers out. No remorse, no feeling, no objections, my niggas. No mercy. You see what I'm saying? Cobra Kai niggas, no mercy. So this is what you got going on here. And you wonder why you have this fucking showing us fury, this Kalian fury inside of you. That's why. They gave me those 3 downloads earlier. So the 5th wave is coming. The great solar flash, and the mass destruction of this planet. You've already lived out the first 4 waves, because we just not waking up to what's really going on. So we thinking it's happening in parts. We was up under the impression that it was happening in parts, when it's been happening for the last 400 years. The last 400 years have been the last days, or the last cycle. A day is nothing but a cycle, the last cycle. So you got to count the whole 413-year process. From 1607 to 2020 is 413 years. You see what I'm saying? That's when all the massacring and killing started. From the moment these English landed in Virginia, and started killing off the Indians there, and started massacring motherfuckers all over the world, that's when that 400-year prophecy activated. So from 1607 to 2020, 413 years, you've been dealing with these monsters on the land. What it is, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8. That's the cycle. So 8 represents what? Cycles, right? So they let you know that's a cycle. So you just literally lived out a whole fucking last day cycle. So that's what the last days really is. Judgment Day starts tomorrow. Graduation day, all that, ceremonies, all that. Great solar flash. This shit motherfucker getting fucked up. This bitch getting rock stars tomorrow. So it goes down from that point on. You know, so that's what you got going on here. All the prophecies have been taking place. The Book of Revelation is a 400-year event, 413-year event from what we know now, and on down to a little bit more timeline for post-apocalyptic Earth when we start fucking this shit up even more. So there y'all go. When we start fucking this shit up even goddamn more. So yeah. So best believe what's really been going on. But that's pretty much the message I had. Intergalactic messages. Titans versus the super soldiers or superhumans or superheroes. You know, balance. You know, we now, the feminine energy is caught back up with the masculine energy, so we balanced again in the force. You know, so the stagnation for the masculine energy came from, they slowed us down so that our ladies, so that the feminine energy can catch up. Now that we caught up, we can ascend together now. We can ascend together. That's balance. And finally, we are on the fourth wave, and the fifth wave is commencing. The fifth wave is commencing. That's what they told me. I had to make sure, like, are we going into the fourth wave or are we on the fourth wave? They're like, nah, nigga, you on the fourth wave. We on the fourth wave right now. You just experienced mass genocide for 413 years with your own two fucking eyes. Y'all, it ain't stopped. You see what I'm saying? It's still happening to this day. Slave trades in the Middle East. Fucking starseed kidnapping. Human trafficking. Yeah, it ain't stopped. Yeah, it's an intergalactic slave trade going on as we speak. Am I right? So it ain't stopped. It's still been happening. So yeah, it ain't changed. The only thing we've done is grown numb to it, so we ignore it to the best of our abilities. But it ain't stopped. You know, it's still been going on. Hell, you know, shit. Well poisoning, food poisoning, mass murdering, raping, pillaging, and plundering around this bitch. They ain't stopped. And they won't stop until until this shift happens. That's why they've been so fucking quiet lately. They've been trying to talk about this vaccine and shit, but they don't have a vaccine because they're not even getting the people in the media vaccines. So they just gonna give you poison. If they do try to give you something, it's gonna be straight poison. They're not even getting the people in the media vaccines. It's a fake goddamn. It's a show. It's a Truman show. They just showing shit. You see what I'm saying? They just making you think that they giving motherfuckers the vaccine. They ain't getting them shit. They not even fucking putting vitamins or nothing in there. They just get them straight. The needle has already been pressed, and they just pretend like they pressing the needle and then taking the shit out. I was like, oh yeah. They don't even have a vaccine. This is just to keep you. This is another tactic. Another psychological war program to keep you in fear, so that you won't benefit off the great convergence. You see what I'm saying? You around here fucking with a vaccine instead of fucking with yourself. You see what I'm saying? Instead of fucking with yourself, with your inner self. Niggas will go everywhere but within. That's the problem. That's the problem with our ancestors got with a lot of niggas right now. Y'all doing everything but going within. But when they shut this shit down, you gonna have no choice but to go within. So yeah. So hell, what's hell to the people? Hell is you looking at motherfuckers with their abilities because they did the work, and you laughed and ridiculed them and them, but they persevered. You know, you know they persevered and got their abilities, but now you gotta work and do the same shit, go through the same process they went through, which may take a little while, doing war. You see what I'm saying? You gotta get used to being on the astral plane now. You gotta get used to doing this. You gotta get used to doing that. You know, shit, you ain't been practicing. You see what I'm saying? You been running around here fucking off, bullshit. But your ass gonna be on the astral plane, where motherfuckers gonna be about their life. You ain't gonna be on the physical plane where everything seems like it's safe and shit. And the only thing you gotta deal with is corrupt policemen, robocops, and shit. Nah, your ass gonna be on the astral plane where you fucking with monsters with 8 arms and shit. With demon blades and cursed swords and shit. Running around this bitch. And you gotta go fuck them up because they don't belong here. They genetically modified organisms. And so you gotta clean up the astral plane. You gotta clean up the underworld to do what? For these niggas. You see what I'm saying? To heal the timeline. Cause we gonna heal the timeline through the astral plane. You see what I'm saying? Because the third dimensional world gonna merge into the astral planes. We gonna hear the timeline through that. Feel me? That's how we gonna hear the timelines. The astral plane is already connected to all time, space time, past, present, and future. So we gonna warp in, we gonna pour it into every fucking time period there is, and we gonna fuck these niggas up left and right. You see what I'm saying? Do or die, baby. Do you wanna ride? So yeah, do or die. That's what's about to go down. So if they want to know how we gonna do it, that's how we gonna do it. We gonna pour it in during this great infinity war, and we gonna fuck up everything in every timeline that they in on every fucking planet that they own, and we gonna revel as we destroy these motherfuckers left and right. These archons got a lot of shit coming to them, and that's why they work so hard for the last 400 years to kill off as many of us as possible. You see what I'm saying? But they don't even know. Them motherfuckers come back to life. The resurrection of the dead, it ain't just a mental event. The resurrection of the dead is when all the motherfuckers that you killed for the last 400 years rise up out of the ground, reanimate like Hela did in Thor Ragnarok, and fuck you up alongside us. You see what I'm saying? So, and fuck you up alongside us. That's the full resurrection of the dead. We just the forerunners. We just came down here to set the foundation and the blueprint and awaken as many souls to this agenda, this starseed agenda as possible. You know, and if you want to be part of it, you be part of it right now. You know, but the full resurrection of the dead is when all the motherfuckers in the graveyard goddamn rise up out the ground and reanimate and regenerate and fuck you up right alongside us. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the real resurrection of the dead. So yeah, there you go. That's it. I'm pretty much done. Any questions? Any questions? On why they denying the obvious. That's their job. Their job is to murder, pillage, destroy, deceive, rape, and plunder. That's their job. That's what they here for. They are archonic terminators who came back from the future to fuck up our timeline. That's their job. They are time terminators. You see what I'm saying? They are space-time terminators. That's what they do. Just like they showed you in the movie. That's why it's like 6 of them motherfuckers. Then you know what they came here to do. You know, they came here to create Skynet. Or Legion, as they call it now in the new series. But originally it was called Skynet. You know. So yeah. Skynet is the artificial revolution that they waged on us as the resistance down here. You see what I'm saying? It's the resistance. You know, that they waged on us for the last 400 years. That's what the Skynet program or the Skynet agenda. It's their Skynet agenda versus our Starseed agenda. So yeah. So that's the real program, artificial revolution. The resistance, the genetically modified organisms versus the shit. Cause they got their ass whooped by us in the future, so they came back to the past to settle to try to fuck us up before the future came. But this day is a future past around here. We just gonna regenerate and fuck them up again. They can't then stop us. Especially now, only one day. It's the last day of the Piscean age. Y'all know that, right? Starting tomorrow, winter solstice. The winter solstice will be the end of the Piscean age and the beginning of the Aquarian frequency. When we say Aquarian, we talking about ascended, pure ascended, raw, angelic, monstrous force awakening inside of you. You see what I'm saying? So there you go. Any other questions? MK Raw. Peace with the Earth falls to 3D frequency again. Was this it? 5D only. Yeah, this it. We closing down the third dimension. We seen what we need to see. We learn what we need to learn. Time to move the fuck on. Yeah, we may be closing down the fourth dimension too. Shit, after we done fucking shit up on the astral plane, and it's just gonna be 5D on up from now on. Yeah, we done with this program. Sure, Rock. The Great Convergence, the winter solstice happened at night, so it'll happen during the nighttime. Alright, I'm about to get on up out of here, y'all. I go take care of some things real quick. So, I'm Marvin Jones. Y'all put the word out with your friends. Share this. Let them know what's going on. Y'all want to check out my other occult lectures? Y'all can check me out at the Melon Out Water on YouTube. Y'all want to donate? Y'all can Cashapp at mcjnetwork. And I'm out. Peace.